If you walk into my shop and ask which heavy-duty diesel you should buy, I'm going to point at a Ford F-250 with the 7.3-liter Powerstroke before you even finish the sentence. It is the last truly indestructible diesel engine Ford ever offered before emissions regulations and overcomplicated engineering changed the formula forever. Over my 23 years of turning wrenches, I have watched the heavy-duty market transition from building million-mile industrial tools into $100,000 luxury computers. Those modern rigs are masterpieces of performance until a $40 sensor fails and puts the entire truck into limp mode while you are hauling 15,000 pounds up a mountain grade. Today, I am pulling the curtain back on 3 structural legends that mechanics actually respect. Trucks that were built with one goal, outlasting the person behind the wheel. If you buy these once, stay on top of the basic maintenance, and keep the rust away, you are done shopping for life. Let's get into it. Number 3 is the Chevy Silverado 2500 HD, equipped with the 6.0-liter LQ4 iron block V8. In the world of heavy-duty trucks, everyone is obsessed with diesel torque. But for a huge segment of buyers, this gas-powered setup is actually the superior long-term financial decision. I had a client named Mike who ran a local landscaping business and was convinced he needed a Duramax diesel for his 3-man crew. I looked at his route, saw he was mostly doing short-trip towing within a 50-mile radius, and told him to buy a 2004 gas-powered 2500 HD for $12,000 instead of a $35,000 diesel. 5 years and 150,000 miles of daily abuse later, his biggest repair bill was $450 for a set of ignition coils and a water pump. The reason mechanics love the LQ4 iron block is that it lacks almost every failure point found in modern engines. It has no turbochargers to leak oil, no complex high-pressure common rail injectors that cost $3,000 to replace, and absolutely no diesel particulate filters to clog up. It is an old-school pushrod V8 that is essentially a scaled-up version of the legendary LS engine family. Because it is gas-powered, you avoid the massive diesel tax at the pump and the repair shop. You can find these rotting on lots for $10,000 to $14,000 because people think they won't tow enough. What they don't realize is that while a diesel might pull faster, this 6.0-liter will pull that same trailer every single day for 300,000 miles without ever needing an engine teardown. When you are inspecting one, listen for the characteristic Chevy piston slap during a cold start. It sounds like a faint knocking that disappears once the engine warms up. It is harmless, but you can use it to negotiate the price down. Check the exhaust manifold bolts, they are famous for snapping off, and verify the 4L80E transmission shifts firmly under load. If you want a heavy-duty truck with zero drama and the lowest possible cost of ownership, the gas-powered 2500 HD is the smartest move you can make. It is the definitive no-nonsense workhorse. But if your heart is set on a diesel that can literally survive a nuclear blast, we have to talk about the absolute legend at number 2. Number 2 is the Dodge Ram 2500 with the 5.9-liter 12-valve Cummins turbo diesel. In mechanic circles, this is widely considered the greatest medium-duty engine ever placed into a civilian pickup truck. It is a purely mechanical masterpiece that requires exactly one wire to run. I have a customer, an old cattle rancher named Dutch, who still uses his 1996 model for every single load of hay and livestock. The truck currently has 580,000 miles on the original engine. When he asks me about newer trucks, I tell him that his engine is a 1 million-mile industrial motor wrapped in a 200,000-mile Dodge body, and that he should just keep fixing the body. The holy grail of this specific era is the P7100 mechanical injection pump, often called the P-pump. Unlike modern diesels that rely on sensitive electronic control modules to fire the injectors, This pump is gear-driven and entirely mechanical. It doesn't care about software updates or sensor failures. It just pumps fuel and makes power. These trucks sit on lots for $15,000 to $25,000 because the interiors are dated and the Dodge stigma is real. Buyers wrongly assume they are junk because the dashboards tend to crack and the paint fades over time. The technical reality is that the 5.9-liter Cummins features an inline-six design with massive main bearings and a forged steel crankshaft that makes a V8 look like a toy. When you go to buy one, the engine is rarely the problem. You need to check the killer dowel pin, or KDP. It is a $20 fix where you install a small tab to prevent a factory alignment pin from falling into the timing gears. If that has been handled, the engine is essentially immortal. You also need to inspect the front end and the automatic transmission, which were the secondary weak points of this era. If you find a 5-speed manual version, you have found a truck that will outlive your house. But as legendary as the Cummins is, there is one truck that offers that same immortality with a much better interior and vastly superior chassis dynamics. Number 1 is the undisputed king of heavy-duty longevity, the Ford F-250 with the 7.3-liter Powerstroke V8. This is the truck that experienced mechanics quietly buy and keep forever, because they know what came after it was a disaster. One of my oldest shop clients bought a 2002 model brand new straight off the lot. He's a long-haul welder who drives through every state in the country. His 7.3-liter Powerstroke just crossed 520,000 miles on the original factory injectors. When a local dealership recently tried to get him into a new 6.7-liter Powerstroke for $85,000, he laughed, brought his old truck to me for a $400 sensor refresh and some fresh steering link bushings, and went right back to work. People overlook these because they are loud, they vibrate, and they aren't as fast as a modern twin-turbo diesel. But beneath that noise is a 444 cubic inch V8 designed by International Navistar for medium-duty school buses and delivery trucks. It utilizes a HEUI injection system that uses high-pressure engine oil to fire the injectors, which is a brutally reliable setup as long as you change your oil every 5,000 miles. Starting in 2003, Ford switched to the 6.0-liter and later the 6.4-liter diesels, which became some of the most expensive mechanical nightmares in history due to head stud failures and EGR complications. The 7.3-liter was the last of the pre-emissions giants that didn't need to choke itself on its own exhaust. A clean, southern frame 7.3-liter Powerstroke will cost you about $18,000 to $22,000 today. While that seems high for a 20-year-old truck, you have to realize that you are bypassing a $1,200 monthly payment on a new truck that will statistically spend more time in the shop. When inspecting one, listen for a smooth idle and look at the valley of the engine for any oil or fuel leaks, usually just $10 O-rings that need replacing. Check the transmission fluid on the 4R100 automatic. If it's bright red and doesn't smell burnt, you are good to go. The 7.3-liter Powerstroke is the absolute consensus among mechanics for a buy once, drive forever platform. It is a piece of industrial history that proves that sometimes the older way of building things was simply better. Buy one, keep the oil clean, and do not think twice.